Hello and welcome to my first what if, and my first what if is also inspired by an existing what if. What a surprise. Sorry if I feel contagious. This what if is inspired by the Prince of What If's what if on Deku having an editing quirk where he can edit quirks, which he should have titled it like he could edit genes or something like that, but I'm not going to complain. This series is really good. I'm not going to complain. I do have a cold right now, so yeah. And if my audio is just bad normally, if this does get an extra part, which if it does, 500 likes, because I'm a starting up YouTuber. Please, if it does just sound like trash, please tell me in the comments, because I'm recording this on an Android laptop with an actual microphone plugged up to it, so it should sound good, but I'm not sure because it's an Android computer. So yeah. With that being said, let's begin. One day, when Izuku and Bakugo were on the computer, Bakugo noticed Deku's eyes were a slight tad of emerald green more. He then realized and said, "Hey, why do your eyes look like emeralds?" And Deku says, "They always look like emeralds." And Bakugo says, "No, they look like shining emeralds." And then Deku says, "What?" By the way, this is when they're young, and and he immediately runs to tell his mom. He books it literally, splash. Okay. And then as soon as he tells his mom, he blinks for a second and then sees a bunch of DNA strands on his arm, and he sees them making up his mom and his friend Bakugo. They arrive at the doctor, and the doctor says, I think your quirk has finally awakened. Bakugo then says, "Cool, what's his quirk?" The doctor says his quirk seems to be gene manipulation. He can manipulate and edit pretty much anything about the human body, and not just humans. He grabs a plant and he tells Deku to try and change the plant in any way he can. Deku then changes the plant into making it be able to talk. Nothing happens for a while until the plant just says awkward, and then they all get they get goosebumps from that, because that is just cursed. Curse. That is just cursed. And then Deku, and then the doctor says, "Something else, please, no, that's just no." And then Bakugo says, "Can he enhance quirks?" And the doctor says, "Yeah, with enough training, of course." But then Deku immediately looks at the doctor's quirk and sees it, and he boosts it to where he can manipulate the ground. He can manipulate the plant, and he can now have a plant army. That's his quirk, not the rock one, no. And then Deku says, "Make the plant move." Wait, and then the doctor says, "Did you remove the talking part?" "Yes." And then Deku says, "Yes." So the doctor tries to move the plant, and he makes the plant grow into a tree. And he's like, new, but weird. So I can make things grow? No. Deku says, try making the plant grow even more, and then try making it move. He proceeds to make it as large as the Tree of Might, which is not canon from Dragon Ball, but yeah. He proceeds to make it that large. And they're outside, by the way. They're outside. And they see it, and he says, move the tree. And then Deku says, move the tree to space. And he grows the tree up to space and knocks an asteroid that was literally about to hit Earth into the sun. I'm not even kidding, he does that. And then Deku says, cool! I didn't know I could make that happen. Well, technically you did, but I helped you, so I helped save the Earth. I didn't know that those are asteroids. And Deku says, and then Bakugo says, huh? What asteroid? And so does the doctor. And Deku didn't realize, but he made a zoom in quirk, like May's quirk, and he saw the asteroid by accident. He saw it by accident. And he was like, wait, we're not in space? And then he's like, and then the doctor realizes he can make quirks. But he says that out loud, and Bakugo's like, what? He can make quirks? That's even cooler than before. And we skip to when Deku's in school the next day, and he shows off his quirks to the class. Nothing happened, but he did bring the same plant. But he asked the doctor to give him a berry, and he said, and he made the berry talk just to spook his class, as a prank. He's more of a prankster now than he was in canon. Time skip to when they're in middle school. Bakugo is training with Deku, and he says, wow, you really have grown, Deku. I don't know the nickname that Bakugo would call Izuku. Like what do you call someone who can manipulate DNA? It's like what kind of a nickname would you give someone? For that kind of power? Like he called Deku because that was an insult in canon. And other what-ifs might call him Ghost or something, maybe because he's teleporters, something. Yeah, something like that, but I don't know what to call him, so leave that in the comments below. In school, when they're sparring in the morning, and when they went to school, they filled out papers that showed where they want to go for high school. Obviously Deku and Bakugo chose UA, and they both said hero course. Though Deku said, if not hero course, then at least support course. And yeah, we time skip to when it's the end of school. I'm sorry, I have like a speech impediment or something. I'm sorry. Time skip to the end of school when they get attacked by a sludge villain. At this point in the series, the sludge villain is no match for both. They're both walking there. And mind you, Deku can just cancel out his quirk. Unlike Aizawa, he can literally just make him into a regular born human. Kind of like Izuku in canon. Well, pre-Izuku. And he actually doesn't do this. He just picks up a bottle, because he senses it before it comes. He has a sort of key sensing, he has a key sensing ability where he can sense, like, the presence of people, depending on if they're using their quirk or not. Like how much power they're outputting. And he senses them. He grabs the bottle, because he knows what this guy's quirk is. Tells Bakugo to stand back. There's a sludge villain. There's a guy who could potentially seep into us and control us from the inside. Bakugo, a little creeped out by that fact, but also kind of ticked off that Deku said stand back. The sludge villain pops up, and Deku immediately uses his telekinesis that he got the idea from his mom, and he tries to force the sludge villain into the two bottles. He does so and looks for the nearest pro hero with the two bottles in his hands. Then he realizes a tracker on the sludge villain, and the sludge villain is like, huh? How did that get there? And then All Might shows up. I was like, ha! And before he gets finished his sentence, he's stopped to realize Deku's handing out the bottles of the sludge villain with the tracker on to him. He's like, and All Might's like, impressive. How did you do this? And you shouldn't really use your quirks in offense. Deku says he's sorry about that. I realized the tracker on him, and I figured that he was a villain that someone was tracking. So I decided to capture him in these bottles and look for the nearest pro hero. All Might, surprised by this, thinks this kid can be a really good pro hero, and then asks how did he do it? Deku simply says, I have multiple quirks. If that makes, I use telekinesis. Cool quirk. But you should, yeah, okay. And takes the bottles. He realizes that his hero form is out, and is about to jump, as Deku simply stops him from jumping, and cancels out his quirk without thinking what it would be, and tries to ask All Might a question, but as soon as he cancels out his quirk, skeleton. Then Deku decides, I should probably make a history reading or like a backstory reading quirk. He thinks out his mind. He does that and realizes what happened. Oh. This is awkward. All Might's like, what happened? What happened? Did I run out of time? And Bakugo is just standing there like a confused Tanjiro, like what is going on? What is going on? Bakugo is more chill. He's more like a chill Inosuke. More like a chill Inosuke in this. Like a chill Inosuke. He's not like die. He's not like select to kill like every living being. He's not as cocky. He's not like Vegeta levels cocky or Shadow levels cocky. He's like a calm version of Inosuke without being ugly. Yeah. And Bakugo is like, he has no words. He can't speak. He's just so confused. He's so confused. And he decides to give him his back his quirk, and also heal his wound, and then he says, and then All Might says, "How did you know?" And Deku simply says, "I was trying to erase your quirk to ask you a couple more questions. I see that was a bad idea." "Wait, you can erase quirks? I thought you used telekinesis," said All Might. And then it just gets really awkward. Deku decides to make a mind erasing quirk, or like memory erasing quirk, just to not get lectured by like All Might, because he doesn't really like to be lectured by anyone. So he erases All Might's memory of him and Bakugo's memory of him. But before he does that, he pauses time, as he decided if I just erase the memory, he's going to be like, "Oh, wait, who are you?" And then it's just going to be confusing. And so he stopped time, he decided to do that, and he erased Bakugo's quirk of meeting All Might in Sludge Villain, and he replaced meeting us and getting the Sludge Villain with just the Sludge Villain found in some models, and he just picked them up, and he was like, easier said than done, or easier done than said, I guess. And he then proceeds to, and then Deku proceeds to teleport back to where they were trying to head. Deku didn't like what he had to do, but he just didn't want to be lectured, and also it's the most awkward situation anyone could be in. So he just decided to leave it at that. But then All Might remembered a little bit of that, but only the part that they gave him the models, not the whole erase your quirk skeleton man stuff. No. So he decides to look for the boys. And when they teleport back to Deku's house, he unpauses time, and then it's like, "Bakugo, yeah, I teleported. It's just, I just didn't want to walk that far." And Bakugo's like, "If you were to teleport us to the beach, where we were trying to train." And then that memory pops up back into his brain. And then they teleport to the beach where All Might is looking for the boys, right in front of All Might. And All Might's just like, "I thought you said your power was telekinesis." And then he proceeds to explain his quirk to All Might just to get it out of the way. It's like he just sends like a message that makes All Might understand telepathically. And All Might's like, okay, that makes more sense. All Might's like, "You boys want to go to UA?" They immediately both say yes, and they say that they came here to train for UA because the beach is really dirty. They decide to train for 10 months, and I'm just gonna skip this part because the training part, because there's not really a build up to where he has to eat hair or something dumb like that where he gets godly divine powers. No. So we're just going to skip to the last month where they decide to think of hero outfits. Bakugo's design is less intimidating, if that's the right word. By intimidating, I mean it looks less like this guy's about to kill you. It looks more like, hey, this guy is serious for a hero. Something like Endeavor. Something like not like something like Endeavor where it's ominous, it's intimidating, but it's not like, hey, I want to kill you kind of look. No, it's not like that. And he decides to make his, and Deku decides to make a sort of weapon. It's not a gauntlet or anything. I'm gonna say it's a full body outfit. So that's what his hero outfit is gonna be. A full body outfit made up of metal and tech. We skip to them walking together to go to UA, and Deku trips, but then uses the Force. He literally just calls his telekinesis the Force. Disney, don't caught me on that. He calls his telekinesis the Force because he got that from a movie. Yeah, a movie, quote unquote. Star Wars, yeah. And he uses the Force. Okay, he uses the telekinesis and to stop him to fall when this girl was just about to use her quirk to make him not fall. And this girl's like, and it just looks like this girl just pushed Deku over, and Deku's like, did you just push me over? And she was like, no, I was gonna use my quirk to make you not fall. What's your quirk? And she proceeds to use her quirk on Deku. Deku starts floating, and he realizes what her quirk is. And then he proceeds to make himself heavy because he thought that was a permanent thing. And then she releases it without thinking like, why is he on the ground? And now Deku just feels 2 tons of force. Two extra tons of force on his body, because he decided to make it his own body weight, half his body weight, like 2 tons of force. Like that's like what he usually feels, because he usually has like some sort of like guard or defensive, or like offensive quirk, usually active. In case someone's about to attack him, a defensive quirk, and he's just on the ground, crushed, and tries to, release it, and he's like panting because he's like he was like 2 tons, and then he puts the normal amount of weight of defensive stuff, and he's like, well, thanks for trying at least. I'm sorry about that. And then we skip to them explain the rules of the entrance exam. They both, Bakugo and Deku, pass the written exam, and they face off, and they have the same testing area. And then when he was trying to talk to the girl, because it looked like she was nervous, this guy with exhaust coming out of his calves says, "Are you trying to mess with the girl?" And then Deku just replies with, "No, she looks nervous, so I was trying to see if she was okay, if she needed any help." And then Bakugo's like, "Someone has a crush," and points at Deku, like from behind, teasing him. And Ida's just like, "You two are weird." Bakugo starts acting like a chiller version of himself, and is like, "Hey, that's not really nice." and and President Mike starts saying 5, 4, 3. Immediately, Deku turns on a sort of speed quirk, and then President Mike before President Mike before President Mike can even finish, Deku is fully prepared for the speed, and then President Mike says, "Go go 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 go!" And then Deku lightnings off with Bakugo in second place behind him. And Deku then proceeds to put on his new weapon, and it's a full body outfit. Leave a name in the comments because I don't want to have to say that. Leave a name in the comments. And he proceeds to punch 2-point robots with a 100% accuracy quirk that he developed. It's like a lightning fast, like Luffy kind of quirk. Not like a warping quirk, it's just like a lightning fast Luffy kind of quirk. Though he does have some sort of teleport or portal quirk. It's where he puts out his hand and it's like he's like trying to blast you with like a key based attack, and then there's the portal, and then he can punch through it, but he decides, no, that would just be too easy, so he decides to use a stretchy arm ability, which his suit allowed him to follow him, because he thought about that, and he's like, oh, I should probably make the suit out of a hard rubber. So he decided to do that. And when his arm came back, he started to expand his arm with another quirk, and expand his whole body into like a gigantification quirk. And then he just started to think that was a bad idea. There's a lot of people here, so he's like flight abilities, and then he turns back into normal size, and then he starts gliding through the air with wings, with rubber wings. No, he didn't develop a quirk for flight. He decided, hey, I should probably have my suit do something. So he flies and spots the same girl that was trying to make him not fall under a bunch of robot rubble. Okay. And then President Mike announces, now the 0-pointer robots are commencing. And one starts commencing right next to the girl. And then he's like, oh frick, I gotta do this. And then he flies down and starts to gain speed. And he's not gaining, and he already reached max speed by just normally going down. No, he's using a boot, like Bakugo's explosions, but like he's like using like chi, you know, he's using blast, like a jet. He's using like a jet to propel himself even faster, reaching speeds of Mach 10. He thought that was overkill, but as soon as the robot near the girl fully commenced, he already pierced right through as he didn't realize it himself, and immediately blew up the robot with more pieces of rubble about to fall on the girl as Deku starts to use a disintegration quirk, kind of like Shigaraki's. but he doesn't have to touch them. Yes, he just has to be within a radius of them. And then he starts to land and tries to heal the girl. And when he lands, Prison Mike says, "It's up now that the physical exam is over. You may go back." And then he checks her pulse and realizes that she's still alive. She's just knocked out unconscious. So he picks up the rubble and heals her with the healing quirk that he thought would be useful in case he needed it. And then he heals her back up to 100%, and is now she's fully healed. She actually woke up from being unconscious, and she's like, "Did you heal me?" "A lot more than heal. More like saved your life due to a zero pointer." "A zero pointer? Wait. Why'd you destroy it?" "Saved your life. You were under rubble, and the zero pointer started commencing. But luckily for you, at least, the zero pointers, the zero pointer next to you was immediately exploded because I was flying at Mach 10. "You're flying? You have a flying quirk? I thought you used telekinesis." Then he tells his quirk to her, and he announces it a little bit too loud as he accidentally used his voice quirk, and everyone now knows his quirk. And they're like, "That explains a lot, and that's OP." One of the people, Aoyama, was like, "Oh, you sparkle more than me. I never knew that was even possible." And then Deku's just like blank face, like the blankest face I could ever think. He's like, what? Like, he's so confused. Like, he's like, he literally formed out of rubble a question mark above his head. He literally uses telekinesis to form a question mark above his head. Like, he literally does that. But that's not, no, he doesn't do that consciously. That happens. Like, if there's a material, like a material around him that is like broken up into pieces where it can be stolen up, it'll show his emotions above his head. Because that's just like a habit. It's not something he does consciously. And then Aoyama realizes that he's confused, and he's like, and Aoyama's like, "I must go. By the way, I'm from France." And then Deku's like, exclamation mark above his head is like, "I realize what you mean now." And then picks up Uraka, and then stands her up because she vomited a little, due to gravity quirk, and started to vomit even more. Luckily, Deku just used telekinesis, looked away from it, and used some sort of fire quirk to disintegrate the vomit. It doesn't even exist. It's like, yeah, you probably need to work on that. And Uraka's like, "Sorry, yeah, I guess it doesn't really make people like you if you're vomiting all over the place." And he's like, "Life? Are you trying to get a crush here or something? Are you trying to get a boyfriend here or something?" He's like, "No, like you, like number 1, number 2, like ranking." And he's like, yeah, okay. And just walks away. In the meantime, Bakugo already got enough of villain points for the exam, and he also realized the hidden part of the exam, and helped people with some of the robots and the fear avoiders. 2 weeks have passed since the entrance exam, and both Bakugo and Izuku haven't gotten their letters yet. And then All Might personally comes to Izuku's house while Bakugo's there. Bakugo and Izuku's there, and announces that, young Bakugo and Midoriya, you have passed your entrance exam, and also announces that you have, and I will be teaching you in UA, as he announces that he's becoming a teacher in UA. They immediately recognize his voice, and they're literally watching all night. They're literally watching all night videos from like 2016 or something, and they're like so hyped. They're literally shaking in excitement. And along with this, so along with this, they see All Might's former psychic, Night-Eye, and they're like, isn't he your former psychic? And Night-Eye informs them that they have come together again as unforeseen events have happened. And both Bakugo and Deku know his quirk and laugh at the joke. And so does All Might. I mean, come on, it wasn't meant to be a joke, but they laughed at it thinking it was a joke. I mean, yeah, come on. Like, if your quirk is literally foresight, and you say unforeseen circumstances, people are gonna laugh at that. And then he acts more sternly, and yeah, they calm down. And Night-Eye says, I will be one of the staff members at UA as well. As let's just say at this point, he hasn't formed an agency yet, but he does have some sort of like not like a club, like a extra class, like a kind of like an after school class. If you have to sign up for it, and it's extra hero work and stuff like hero patrol. Yeah, like you know the stuff that they do at agencies. You know, to get with the vibe of if you're trying to be a psychic, or you gotta get with the vibe of that. Yeah. So that's where wait. And okay, alright, I'm gonna finish at the alright, I'm going to finish at the end of the Schwartz episode. Oh, okay. And when they go to their first day of class, they are looking for class 1A, and decide to look for and are looking for the class when they see a door the size of like half the size of Mount Lady in her giant form, and then it's like, and then Deku's like in his head is like, is it really believable that a student can be that huge? And then he sees a photo right next to to the thing showing like a guy who's literally that big. He's literally as tall as the door, and he's like, okay. And then he sees Bakugo not being scolded, but being praised, as he saw how he did, as Ida saw how he did. Though he is mad at him for his feet still being on the desk, he's more like a laid back. He's like, at this point, he's like a laid back Sasuke, or no, like a laid back he's like Bakugo. He's like laid back, but he's like he can still get easily ticked off. And with that, the floaty girl that Izuku saw, in the floaty girl that he saw in the entrance exam, happened to say, hey, I thought I would see you here. And then she says, you and that explosion-haired kid got the most points out of anyone in the entrance exam. And then the whole class realizes, wait, these are the kids who got the highest, with both ranking at a skyrocketing score of 120 points with 60 of both hero points and villain points. Then everyone's like, whoa, both? Wow, this is really cool. Then a guy in a sleeping bag, which Deku already met before, starts to come out of his sleeping bag, and it's like, if you're here to make friends, you can just leave. If you're here to make allies, that's a better excuse, but still, you're getting expelled. And then everyone sees this, and everyone except Bakugo and Deku are surprised, as they already know who this is. And Mr. Aizawa already knows who they are. Mr. Aizawa announces that he's their homeroom teacher, and will be teaching him, and will be teaching the class. The class is the same roster, but with an added student. You see, the class is getting Shinso because they put him in a different test. They put him in a different test than the robot. And they realized, oh, he shouldn't need to be in a lower class. He should be in 1A. So unlike sophomore year in the manga spoilers, he doesn't have to wait for sophomore. He just immediately goes. So he doesn't announce the war. Neither does Steel Boy. I'm gonna call him that. Steel Boy also is in class 1A. As I'm just gonna say that Kirishima and Steel Boy are brothers. They're brothers. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? Like, one's steel, one is hard as rock, one is hard as steel. They both look like almost exactly the same, just the color looks different. And one has kind of silver lining around his eyes. I don't know what that is. It's like looks like he ripped off his skin or something, and it's just steel. It's like a robot or something. But then he announces that there are so many students in this classroom, and they're like, how many students just got here on recommendations? Only Todoroki and Lolo rose their hand. and 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 Aizawa was impressed. I mean, obviously, except for Bakugo and Deku, because they're just like stars. Like, imagine it's like trying to compare an ant. It's like trying to compare an ant or like something as small as an atom compared to literally all of the universe. Like that's literally like not Cop-1A. Cop-1A is an atom. Cop-1A is like, as well, I forgot to mention, as well as another student, which is either going to surprise you, just make you like, or just make you like, this is a stupid thing. I'm gonna add Shigaraki, but I'm gonna have like, cause I feel like all, oh sorry, I didn't realize, I'm sorry, I burped, okay. That's gonna be mean. That's either gonna be mean or just sans. Okay. And okay. Shigaraki, I feel like Shigaraki's actual, like, the quirk that we see in canon is not his given born quirk. I feel like he had a quirk, but it got stolen by All Might. Or no, All For One. It got stolen by All For One. And All For One gave him a quirk that is far more deadly and far more villainous, and also gave him a different attitude. So I'm gonna say Shigaraki saw what All For One did to her his grandma, and and whenever he saw him on the news, he legitimately hid in fear. And he saw him one day in person, but he didn't notice him, and All Might was fighting him, and he saw All Might and was like, oh, please, I don't want anyone, and he's like in his mind, please, I don't want anyone else to die, because remember, this Shigaraki isn't driven by total insanity. It's like not driven by Darth Vader. He's not driven by Darth Vader. No, legitimately, it looks like Darth Vader. Yeah, okay. It looks like Darth Vader. Darth Vader, not driven by Darth Vader, and wants to become a hero and tries to face off against the menace or like quote unquote menace, because he doesn't know his name. He never knew his name, and the menace that killed his grandma. At the age that he is, he's actually around Deku's age. So yeah, and he is attending UA with a quirk that I will announce at the sports festival. Okay. And at the ballroom. It's gonna be in the ballroom. And okay. And as soon as everyone got sit down, he presses a button, and it contains the gym uniforms, or it contains the outfits that they chose, but they thought it was just gym uniforms. So he said that. He didn't think that. He knew what it was. And decided to say gym uniforms because, you know, they're gonna think, yeah. And everyone puts them on, realizes that they're the gym uniforms, or they're hero outfits, and they decided their hero names before, so their hero names are plastered onto their outfits, signalizing Deku's signature. Because Deku actually was requested by Nezu to make the outfits, as when they saw in the sports festival, he made all the outfits that the other heroes designed, and said I can make this in a night. He actually did, and he didn't get enough sleep. But that was still before school, so he's well rested for school. He's not like he's not like not rested for school. He gets a lot of rest. That was one of the days it was still summer. And then they go outside, realized that they have their hero names and their hero suit. And they have their hero suits with their hero names plastered on to the back of the suit. And they're like, how did this get done so fast? And Aizawa just simply points to Deku. And Deku's like, do you really have to spoil the surprise? And he's like, and then Mineta is like, I wish I could make the panties of a female superhero. And he's like, I didn't make that! And Deku's like, and then Deku literally simply, slaps. I'm trying not to get monetized by YouTube, so he backslaps Netta into the floor. Kaminari is about to say the same thing, but before he could, he saw that and he's like, and in his mind he's like, I'm gonna shut my mouth. And the first one to demonstrate the ball throw is Bakugo. Bakugo has just the amount of power as Deku, as they trained together for years and years and years. They are both equal in power. Bakugo throws the ball about approximately onto the sun. So he simply says AU. And most of the class students don't know what that is. But then Deku states AU, astronomical units, which is the distance between Earth and the sun. And then they're like, they're like, boy, what you do? What? And Mineta's just like he, you know how he has balls on his head? He lost those. He doesn't have, now he just has a regular haircut. Yeah, he has a regular, quote-unquote, regular haircut. And, yeah. And then Deku throws it, but this time, Deku, in terms of this, Deku's gonna be more, cause he's gonna use all of his strength, no matter what. He's gonna need it. He's gonna need it, and it simply says on his phone, on the recorder thing, it simply says dimensional, and everyone's like, what is that supposed to mean? And then it starts warping around the place. So it's like so fast as warping. And then Deku catches it and crushes the ball. And then reforms it. This man's showing off. This man's trying to show off. He's not cocky, he just wants to show off. Like, he just feels like this is his time to shine. This is his debut, you know? Like, or not debut, but this is like what's going on. And the next person to go is Mineta, as he seems super scared. But before he can throw the ball, Deku talked to Mineta because he seemed before the backslap, he seemed like a nice person. He didn't want to get to his perverted. He could like restrain it. But when he heard that, he's like jealous, and then he just got backslapped. Yeah. So yeah, he actually accidentally, without knowing, wait, no, he actually gave him a power boost, which is his quirk. With his quirk, he used. I don't know how this works, but like I don't know, he just turned the ball into one of the balls on his head, and he just somehow drew it. He threw it like around Canon Bakugo's level, which is impressive for Diver Baby. For backslash perverted Diaper Baby. Robbie's up next, and she decides to use her tongue for this, but uses like a napkin or something, because germs. She knows germs. She knows what germs are. She doesn't want any diseases or anything, so she just uses a napkin, and throws it. I think like around half of like. No, it was like around Bakugo, so basically around Minetta's. And she's like, if Minetta, in her head, if Minetta does anything, does anything to like, oh, we must be meant for each other. Let me touch this. Like, and if he does anything like that, he's getting slapped. Slapped. Minetta just stands there quietly, and he's like, and she's like, yeah, but then she realizes what he's staring at. He ain't staring at his face. He's staring at, the mo, the the chicken breast. Yeah, the chicken breast. The chicken breast. Yeah, the broth. The broth. Yeah, yeah. I think we all know what I'm trying to imply here without getting demonetized. So, yeah, and they decide to, and she just slaps him. But before he can do that, Deku just knocks him out without even having to look at him. He just knocks him out, and she realizes what happened, and telepathically, and Deku telepathically tells her what he did, so she doesn't have to be like. Yeah, it's a private conversation. And then we cut to, like, Deku and Bakugo are tied in first place, which is really cool, but like they're always gonna be tied. Like, I mean, except for the test, like the test with the alright, the next part is the test, where the villain and hero thing, where the fake bomb and stuff. Next, they finish off that, and Deku actually has some extra classes. Bakugo has some extra classes too, but Bakugo's extra classes are with 9-Eye. Deku decides to ask Nezu if he can join the support class as an after-school activity, and he did, and Nezu allowed that. So now Deku's heading to the support class, with everyone wondering why. And then Deku just telepathically says he has extra classes in the support room, and meets with his support classmates, which his teacher is Power Loader, with only Mei Hakume there. I mean, I guess it's just like a actually after school thing. I think Mei Hakume is I think that is her actual class. She's actually, doing stuff, like that's her actual, support items. But, It's just her. I mean, maybe she just signed up for that only, but yeah. And then decides to, yeah, then decides to, yeah, then decides to, wait, okay, let's just move on from that. Okay, Deku shows off his suit, which he actually polished, and like it can transfer between different materials. When he's in his rubber Luffy state, it turns into a stretchy but still intact rubber, and when he's in his power state, it's metal to increase the shockwave of the punches. And he actually has little boosters on his forearms that increase the power of the punches. And like I said, he can fly with his suit. But it's like a glide, like a lightner from Minecraft. If you think about that, or like a flying squirrel, or something like, yeah, to describe it in that way, in that sense. And we cut to the next day where they get the tests. All Might is with Deku. And All Might is picking the students, and it's obviously Ida and Bakugo on the villain team, and Uraka and Deku on the hero team. And Bakugo plays like his normal self in canon, but he also says, "Hey, let's do our best. Come on." It's like a tease, not like a tease, they're friends. They're friends, like actual friends, not like one wants to kill the other, and the other is looks up to him no matter what. And it's not like that. They're like friends. They're actual friends. And they say that let's do our best. It starts and they go in. Bakugo is actually using mini explosions to distract them, but Deku notices that and tells Uraka to watch for their explosions. If there are mini explosions, step away from that area. He's trying to distract you. So they do that, and he telepathically says that, so Bakugo doesn't hear. And Bakugo doesn't hear him walking towards him, and they're not near the stairs, so she tells Uraka telepathically, so he can't hear, to go to that he's gonna teleport her to the stairs and just try to walk up to the bomb, and he enhances her quirk so that it makes things heavier too, and then teleports her to the stairs, and she starts walking up, and Bakugo is checking if both of them walking up. Deku made an illusion to where it looks like he's walking up, and then as soon as his back is turned to Deku engages in combat with a rubber attack, and he's trying to hold him together with the hero tape, and he catches Bakugo with that. And Bakugo says, "Well played." And then he teleports to the second to last floor, which is the last floor. The final floor is where the bomb is being held. And he hears the words "receptovers" and teleports right behind Ida and grabs his arm and is like, "Go, go, 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 go!" Uraga simply puts a finger on the bomb and All Might announces, "The heroes have won." And yeah, the rest of the test for the rest of the students plays out pretty much the same. That day, the new Shinso and Shigaraki weren't there. They were both sick, so yeah. Then we cut to the sports festival, which they are there. Yes, they are there. Shigaraki and yeah, like they're there for the sports festival. And Shinso, yeah. So, alright. So, for the sports festival, Midnight decides to, instead of doing a roulette wheel, she decides to pick something from a hat. She gets an obstacle course. As soon as they hear go, Todoroki decides to use the stomp with his right foot, and everyone's frozen. But a certain few are on the ceiling. Alright, so Shigaraki is on the ceiling because his quirk is actually a key-based quirk. He can pretty much manipulate keys. He can do like Kamehameha and stuff. So and how is he on the ceiling? He's using quiet key-based because key can fly. You can fly with key without like using like Iron Man's, like you have to like put your hands and your feet out and they're blasts coming out. No, he can actually fly with like key-based attacks, with key-based stuff. Sue is obviously up there because frog, and Deku is he's not even on the ceiling. Like it's just Shiraki and Sue on the ceiling. Deku's still at the starting line. And as soon as Todoroki starts ice skating, Deku releases everyone from the ice to make it more difficult for the rest, because it's like so cramped. It's cramped there because there's so many people in one tight spot. And then he just jumps. He jumps and starts flying. He starts gliding with his suit across the ice, and is actually melting the ice to make it harder for anyone behind him. Now, a few are catching up. Mineta, because he can do the same thing he did in Canon, where he just pops off balls and just it's so wrong. It sounds so wrong to think balls. It just sounds wrong. He pops off balls off his head and starts just jumping on them. Sarah is actually being Spider-Man, as usual. And May is using kind of like a Silver Surfer, like hoverboard kind of thing, something like that, yeah. And is pretty much just flying across the ice. Now the thing is, Uraka is actually floating, but she kind of like swim floating, so she's like flying but slow flying. Shiraki and Sue are off the ceiling, and now, yeah. And Sue is like being inspired or something by Sero, and is just like, wait, yo, I just realized something. Sero and Sue have something really in common. They are both My Hero Academia versions of Spider-Man and Gwen. Because she can do anything a frog can, which is literally, he can do anything a spider can. Like come on. And Sarah was just Spider-Man both too. And yeah. So once they get to once Ida gets to the zip lines, he decides to, instead of doing the thing that he did in canon, he just tries to he just tries to yeet off. Like he is running as fast as he can because the ice hasn't caught up to him yet, and just jump, try to jump as far as he can, which he actually makes it all the way. But Deku's already past that, and actually is about to go to the finish line, as well as Todoroki, and sees the bombs. He decides to just yeet on the bombs, and that actually propels him towards the finishing blow. But then Midnight decides to put zero pointers and extend the track. And yeah, she does that, and then everyone is like, why? Wait, why? And then Deku simply just flicks. He literally just taps. Like he just taps air. Like he's trying to tap a app or something on his phone or something, and he's just and then they get disintegrated, and Deku is literally running backwards. He's sonicking. He's being Sonic and running backwards to the finish line. He finishes in first, along with the runner-ups being Silver Place Todoroki, Silver Place Todoroki and Bakugo. Yeah, Bakugo was just blasting the whole way, with Ida and Shiraki in third with bronze, which surprises Ida, because Ida she's the fastest if you think about it. Come on. Ida, when the ice was still there, Ida used that as an opportunity and just stood there and used his burst, and he's he's just flying by people, and he's just so this is what it's like to be anything on ice. And the next thing with the tag thing, or where they have to do some sort of weird formation, that plays out the same. And then we have the battles. Now, with the first battle, it is Deku up against Mineta, which is so unfair. But Deku will back because he knows what he knows Mineta, but then forgets that Mineta did what he did in the ball row, and how do you underestimate Mineta? Saying that he's below 0% is an overestimate. I mean, in the USA incident, I mean that was peak. That was peak for him. But yeah. Anyways, so I'm letting that play I'm letting that play in volume, because next battle. Alright, next battle is Shinso versus Shigaraki. Shigaraki immediately knows what Shinso's quirk is, but he activates his quirk anyway, because he actually trained his quirk up to work without him needing an answer. So he just simply makes him fly off the stage onto the grass. And yeah, Shinso won. Next up is Bakugo versus Sero. Sero's tape versus just a boy who can literally light his fire, light his sweat, and make it explode. You know how that goes. Tape Spencer versus a bomb, a grenade. Yeah, we know how that's gonna go. Yeah, we know how that's gonna go. Yeah, Sarah lost so bad. And next is Todoroki versus Mina, which actually leads Mina almost winning. She almost wins. And then next is Tokoyami versus Momo, which actually plays out differently. Momo actually wins because she literally just points out a flashlight, and it's like Bowser from Bowser's Fury. It's just like always like that. It's just like that. It's like, and he just forfeits. Like the sun is out. How do you forfeit with a flashlight? Like die. Yeah, she just literally makes a flashlight. It's like, be gone. Oh no, it's so. How do you lose to a flashlight? Like that? It's dumb. It's dumb. So yeah. How do you lose to a flashlight? And for the second round, the first round is Deku versus Momo. Momo actually almost wins on this. With Deku, well, Deku was holding back. So, I mean, it's a powerful quirk creation, but it's not. It's weaker than having been able to, make quirks. So yeah, Deku is archiving every bit of information that he has. Like even with the people that cannot be his opponents, like the people who lost and the people in the crowd, he's archiving everyone. And that's also why he doesn't have a book. He doesn't have any books. He just archives it. He literally just archives it. And decides yeah. And just teleports her off the stage, literally. Like, he could have done that with anyone. Let's be honest. He could have done that with anyone. But, yeah. The next battle is Todoroki versus... Wait. Did I miss anyone? Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Mainly now, from this point on, it goes pretty much the same. Yeah. And until we get to the finals, the semifinals are Deku versus Deku? I think Deku versus Shinso. Shinso is still there. And Bakugo, actually it turns out to be a tie between Deku, Todoroki, and Bakugo. So they just make it a free-for-all. And Deku starts to spark with electricity and starts to use a new quirk he created. He calls this quirk electromagnetic, which he can both use electricity and he can pretty much make his body a magnet. And decided to electrocute the ice of Todoroki and use the force and try to like touch it on their backs to like paralyze them and knock them unconscious. And he fails at that. But then he's just like, screw it, I'm gonna punch full power. He punches Todoroki's ice spikes back at him, and actually knocks him back without with Todoroki using fire to get back into the ring, like as a boost. And then he's like, my dad was right. I should just use the fire. Deku realizes this and telepathically says, it's not your dad's work. It's yours. And gives him a lecture on that. And then he beats him even with using 100%. Now it's just Bakugo versus Deku. It actually ends up, not in tie, it's not actually going to end in a tie. Bakugo actually wins. So Deku does win, but very, very close. A very close win. He uses 100% because Bakugo is like the main man. Like at this point, they're both stronger than All Might. They're both stronger than All Might. And it ended too fast for them to use the cement for Cementos to use his wall. So he's like, and yeah, and Bakugo stored up a lot of sweat, and he's just like lighting it all, and decides to make it and decides to use everything he has, and so does Deku. And Deku only wins because he literally has the force, and just man, like yeah, and he knocks him out of the ring, making Deku the winner of the sports festival. That was it. That's it for this part. I hope you enjoyed this and didn't cringe at me using some stuff. I mean, this is my first what if. So you gotta give me, you gotta chill. Like, this is my first what if. So you gotta take that in mind. But I hope you I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed this what if. And if we get to 500 likes for the next one, I will. If we get 500 likes on this one by the end of the month, or the end of the week. No, the end of the month. Because I really want to do this again. The end of the month, I will do another. So yeah, see ya. And yeah, and if we get it like really quickly, I will make one in this month. And if we get it super quickly, there's probably another one this week. So yeah. Yeah. Have a good one and peace. I'm recording this during the day, so yeah.